Hi, welcome to lessonswithtroy.com. I'm Troy Brenningmeyer. Well, this week's lesson is C6 Lap Steel Basics, volume number 3. And in this lesson, we're focusing on classic country licks for backup playing. And once again, we're in C6 tuning, and that's C, E, G, A, C, E. And the chord progression that's on the jam track, and that's also what I'm going to be focusing the lesson around, is similar to that of Your Cheatin' Heart by Hank Williams. So if you have your tablature, go ahead and print it out, and I'll show you kind of what I'm working with this lesson and kind of how I have it structured. Okay, so this is the first lick here, and you can tell it ends because of the double bar line. Okay, and right here you see the chord that this lick will go over. That's a C chord, and I've got in parentheses a 1 there, Roman numeral 1. That means that's our 1 chord for the tune. So this whole lick goes over the C chord, or goes over the 1 chord in this particular key. So as I move to the next lick, okay, you see that that's F, and then I have a Roman numeral 4. So then we switch to the 4 chord for a different lick there. Now these licks are similar, but I change it up just a little bit each time. Okay, and that's how this lesson is structured. We'll go through this chord progression, and instead of me just showing you a ton of different licks, I show you a lick that'll fit over each chord of the tune. And if you're playing other tunes, these are totally movable licks. You just move these licks to whatever chord you're playing in the song that you're playing. And I just want to talk just a second about a general rule for backup playing. When you're playing these licks, try not to put them over top of the singer. Try to put them in between when the singer stops singing and when they start singing again. So that space, try to fit those licks in there. You might have to change them up a little bit, but that's kind of the idea when you're just starting off playing backup, is to not play over top of the singer, but to kind of fill in around the singer. So we got a lot to learn, about 4 pages of tablature here with this one, so go ahead and print them out, set them on a stand in front of you, and let's get going here with C6 Lap Steel Basics, volume number 3, Classic Country Licks for Backup Playing. Okay, so here's our first lick. Let me play it a few times just to get it in your head, and then I'll show you the technique behind it. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 1. Okay, a little slower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, let me show you how I'm doing this. First of all, I'm sliding from fret 11 to 12, and I'm on my 5th and 4th string. Okay, so what you want to do here is you want to use your thumb and index finger on your right hand. Now notice the muting that I'm doing there. That's what's called palm blocking. I'm using this heel of my hand, and when I get done playing that double stop from 11 to 12 there, that slide, I lay my palm down, or my heel down of my hand, and it mutes out that note. So I'm up, here's the bridge, so I'm up a little bit from the bridge, and when I do that slide, I just roll my heel of my hand back and touch all the strings, and it mutes them out. That's what we're going to be using a lot through this lesson, is that palm blocking technique. So as you notice in the tablature, I've got little 8th note rests kind of in between some of the notes, and that's, once again, that's kind of stressing the point of that palm blocking. So slide from 11 to 12, and then mute out, which means you just lay your hand down, mute that out, and then move up to your 4th and 3rd string with your thumb and index, and then your 3rd and 2nd string, and I use my thumb and middle, but you could do thumb and index, but I think thumb and middle works for me, and I'm on my 3rd and 2nd string. So just keep that heel of your hand real close to the strings. So 3rd and 2nd is where we left off, and then we end with 2nd and 1st with my thumb and middle finger. And with your bar, as far as your left hand technique goes, really make sure it's straight with the fret, right over top of the fret. And what you can do is you can back your bar off to whatever the lowest note where you start on is, or whatever I guess it'd be the highest note of the first little part. So that highest note is my 4th string. So I can start maybe with my bar all the way back, and then you just can move your bar up, making sure you don't get the tip of it stuck, in between the strings. That can be kind of. But that's a good rule of thumb, is to keep your bar back, and as you go up the strings, move your bar up. But if you wanted to too, you could start it, with on all the strings. It just might create a little less noise if you move your bar back. But try it both ways and see what works. I think with me, I think I like to start it maybe on my 3rd string, as far as how far I have it pulled back. And real important, really work on that palm blocking. So you can just do those double stops with either, and these are pinches with your thumb and index or thumb and middle. So just work with those pinches, and each time you do a pinch, lay your hand down, the heel of your hand, to mute that out. Otherwise you get this sound. See all that ringing out? So we want that. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to our next lick, and it's going to be real similar to this. I just kind of build off of the previous lick and change it up just a little bit so that we're not, going all over the place here. So whatever you learned on the previous lick, you can apply it to whatever the next lick is that I'm showing you. So one more time, here's the first lick, measures 1 and 2 over this C chord on our 12th fret. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And I just put a little vibrato on that last note on my 2nd and 1st string, 12th fret. Okay, let's go ahead and move on.